Welcome back everyone to Racing Reviews, and welcome back to another episode of our Formula 1 2020 Team Debrief. Just 3 episodes to go today. It's the turn of Red Bull Racing, the team that finished runners-up in the 2020 season, but it wasn't quite that plain sailing. Plenty to go through today, so as always, if you are new, feel free to subscribe. I hope you all enjoy. 2021 content is just around the corner. The season, it's starting to brew now, so very much looking forward to that. But our focus today is 2020. Our focus is Red Bull Racing. What a crazy season they had in a year where they were the only team that were able to challenge the dominant Mercedes W11 and the only team anywhere near Mercedes in the constructors and drivers standings. However, in a year where they only scored 2 victories for Red Bull Racing in 2020. Is that a success? Can we say 2020 was a great year for Red Bull? Of course, in a moment's time when we put them on our tier list, compare them to other teams, we'll have a bit of a bigger debate on that then. But as a baseline for today's video, I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure I can sit here in reflection of last season and say 2020 was a great year for Red Bull. Of course, Max Verstappen continues to be an absolute boss in Formula 1, proving once and for all that this man has the capability to be world champion. The issue at Red Bull was the other side of the garage in 2020. Alex Albon really struggled to find that consistency and find a good run of form over the course of several races, finishing 7th in the driver's standings compared to Max Verstappen's 2nd. I generally believe if they did have a driver with a little bit more performance last year in that second Red Bull car, things wouldn't look quite as bad. When you look at Max Verstappen, how close he was to Valtteri Bottas in the standings, maybe this coming season in 2021, Sergio Perez is going to be able to be that talisman, that second driver Red Bull have been looking for over the last couple of years. And maybe Red Bull will be able to challenge a lot closer to Mercedes this season. But certainly what was for sure last year was Red Bull had the second best car on a Saturday, where on so many occasions last season, qualifying counted more than ever. On circuits that not only had we never been to before, but overtaking was so difficult. Qualifying first, or just on the front row, was almost a must to secure victory last season. And that's something Red Bull weren't able to do often enough. Max Verstappen claiming 1 pole position in the final race of the season was the only highlight on a Saturday for the team last season. And I think actually that's going to be one of their big targets to make massive improvements on in 2021. Converting that on a Sunday into great points is actually something they did very well, especially with Max Verstappen, but securing big points with both cars, again, was a real challenge for the team. Though it should be said, the team scored their first double podium at one event, the Bahrain Grand Prix, for the first time since Japan 2017. It's been a long time coming. They finally were able to do it. But at the same time, 2017 was only 1 year after Nico Rosberg left Formula 1. Ricciardo was still at Red Bull. Hey, Alex Albon had only just made his Formula 2 debut. That's a long time for Red Bull to go without a double podium, and only 1 in 2020 when they were clearly the second best. I think they would have wanted more. I think they will demand more in 2021. We're just going to have to wait and see. So, on to our tier list. From a Red Bull perspective, it was a strange year. A great performance from one driver, not so much from the other. So far on our tier list, Mercedes are in legendary, McLaren and AlphaTauri are in great, Racing Point and Renault are in good, the 2 teams changing their names in 2021, Alfa Romeo are in bad, and yesterday we put Williams alongside them. For Red Bull, I'm going to go with good, because there is no denying they were the only team anywhere near the monsters that were Mercedes. Miles in front of the midfield, that's where they want to be. So in terms of the car, in terms of development, I think they made progress and were closer to Mercedes, definitely made progress over Ferrari, but just 2 wins. Just 2 wins for Red Bull. Not great. Certainly not great. Nowhere near legendary. So I think good fits the bill. Maybe average would be better. It's a close call. I'm edging with good. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But let's talk about our drivers. 2 drivers at Red Bull this year, Max Verstappen and Alex Albon. No mid-season changes that we thought might be coming in the latter stage of the season. But as you can see, qualifying, total domination for Max Verstappen, the only driver to score 17-0 in qualifying in 2020. An average qualifying of 3.11. Ridiculous for Max Verstappen. Alex, though, did struggle in qualifying, 7.17. His average qualifying position wasn't good enough for the team to keep him on in 2021. Race head-to-head 12-5 in Max Verstappen's favour, though a lot of those coming through DNFs. Points 214 to Max Verstappen to 105 of Alex Albon. Albon only 7 points in front of 9th place Lando Norris. Max Verstappen, of course, qualifying on pole, winning both the Abu Dhabi and also 70th anniversary Grand Prix. Alex Albon a best qualifying of 4th and a best race finish of 3rd place, which we saw twice, one at Mugello and one in Bahrain. And whilst we're on the subject of Alex, let's talk about him. Let's have a discussion, because you got to feel bad for him. A driver who was on his way to Formula E, had got a great drive with Nissan. At the last second, no, Red Bull, we want you back, come to Toro Rosso. That's what he did. You don't turn down a Formula 1 drive. And he did great in that first half of the year with Toro Rosso, up against Danny Kvyat. And actually, in that second half of 2019 with Red Bull, he wasn't that bad either. Certainly needed to improve in 2020 to keep that seat for the future. But there was glimpses there of a driver that could be a really solid number 2. But for one reason or another, that never quite came to fruition in 2020. And the driver that we saw, especially in Spa, that first race he did with Red Bull, we never quite saw again. That aggression was there, but the qualifying pace always seemed to be lacking. He always found himself on the back foot heading into a Sunday. And what we did see more and more and more as the season went on in 2020 were little mistakes that were building up. As the pressure built, more mistakes meant more pressure, and finally the team had enough, making the decision to sign Sergio Perez for 2021. Albon moves to DTM, will remain as Red Bull's reserve driver, so he might very well get a ride, whether that's with Red Bull or AlphaTauri as a maybe stand-in if someone's not able to race this year. But it's still disappointing, because there were flashes of brilliance, just not on a consistent enough basis. 2 podiums, 2 solid drives, Bahrain and also in Mugello. But both of those drives, both of those podiums, came through misfortunes to others. And hey, you've got to be in the right place at the right time, don't get me wrong. But I felt we were missing that star-studded performance from Albon this year. That one weekend where he beat Max in qualifying, beat him in the race, scored a podium. We never quite saw that. And I think that's the reason Red Bull decided to make the change. He was so close to claiming that first victory of the season in Austria. But I think even if that had still happened, I still think Red Bull would have made the same decision. For Max Verstappen, the other side of the garage, I said it earlier on, you run out of superlatives because this man is just a bit mega. He's just a little bit insane. Comfortably one of the best drivers in Formula 1, no debate anymore. Whereas a couple of years ago when I started this channel, there was talk that maybe Max Verstappen wasn't all that. That's not a question anymore. This guy has got it. Another awesome year in 2020. One of the most consistent drivers of the 2020 season. Only 2 victories and 1 pole position. He'll probably be frustrated with that. He wants more. He is hungry for more. Red Bull really need to make a good car in 2022. Otherwise, Max might move on. And if Red Bull are struggling to find drivers now, when they've got Max Verstappen, goodness me, the issues they would have if they lost their golden boy. The best part of Red Bull's season was Max Verstappen this year. Will we see him challenge Hamilton next year? I doubt it, but the target will be to beat Bottas. That was a target that none of us thought in our wildest dreams in 2020 Max would get anywhere close to Valtteri, and yet the gap was 9 points at the end of the season. A magic year. A ridiculous year. So let's move on to our tier lists, because two very contrasting seasons from both Red Bull drivers. So far, our tier list looks a little bit like this, with Perez, Hamilton, George Russell in the legendary category. Great from Gasly, the Hulk, and Daniel Ricciardo. Good from both McLarens, both Alfa Romeos, Lance Stroll and George Russell. Average for Kvyat, Bottas, Ocon, and our two Williams drivers of Latifi and Aitken. For Red Bull, I hate to do this, I've gone with this. Max Verstappen will start off with the great category. I can't put him in legendary because he didn't have more wins. It wasn't quite that magic season where we all go, yeah, Max is one of the greatest of all times. We're not quite there yet, but massive improvement. So certainly a great year for Max. For Alex Albon, our first driver in the bad category. Oh, the fact he's on his own as well just makes it look worse and makes me feel bad. But there's no denying it wasn't good enough in 2020. Just 2 podiums. The same as Daniel Ricciardo, McLaren, the same as Sergio Perez, and even Lance Stroll. I've got to put him in the bad category. And I'll leave that there before I upset myself and you guys anymore. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Just 2 teams to go. And I'll tell you now, up next, tomorrow, it's the turn of Haas F1. I'll see you there. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.